Everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from MRC Newsbusters, America's Media Watchdog. It is from December 29th, and it is entitled The 10 Most Egregious Fact Checks of 2024. And I like that fact is in scare quotes there because I'm sure it is all BS because that's what the media does, and it is one of our clowning on the media videos, so I hope you'll join me to point and laugh at the absolute morons in our mainstream media. So, let's dive right in here. So it says, it is a common retort among those who argue in favor of an independent fact-checking industry that Republicans and conservatives are fact-checked more because they lie more. However, anyone who reads beyond the headlines will soon see this is nonsense. Yes, it's definitely the opposite of that. It says, over the past year, the fact-checkers have come out with some fact checks that are themselves factually challenged. Here are the worst 10. And so it started with number 10, which it says, Washington Post Glenn Kessler defends Harris's 2020 riots response. That was on September 16th. And Glenn Kessler is the Washington Post chief fact checker, and he's one of the worst at it. Like, he just can't get things right, even though, again, he's a fact checker. So it says, in 2020, then Senator Kamala Harris tweeted out a link for the Minnesota Freedom Fund that sought to bail rioters out of jail. 4 years later, a pro-Trump super PAC criticized that decision, claiming she raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail. Kessler downplayed Harris's role, giving the claim 3 Pinocchios, and I think, and I don't hold me to this, but I think their highest is 4 Pinocchios. So he's basically saying that this is a pretty big lie. So the quote here says, from Glenn Kessler, says, Harris herself never personally bailed out anyone or had any interaction with the fund. Justin Timberlake also tweeted his support. There's no way to know how much money was raised because of Harris's tweet. Okay, now, this is him making excuses. This is not like, she put out a tweet saying, I can't remember the exact tweet. It's still up. You can go search for it. But because he's saying she herself never personally bailed out anyone or had any interaction with it, then basically, oops, you guys are wrong. And it's like, F off, dude. Like, we know what she did, okay? It's kind of one of those things, like, he's almost in a way saying, don't believe the evidence of your own eyes, okay? So let's go to the next one. It says, number 9 is PolitiFact's double standards on political insults. This is from September 4th. It says, when former Georgia Senator David Perdue labeled current Senator John Ossoff a socialist in 2020, PolitiFact gave him a pants-on-fire rating. When Democrats, including President Joe Biden, accused Republicans of passing Jim Crow-esque election integrity laws that, by the way, made elections safer in Georgia, so the laws worked, and no, they are not Jim Crow-esque because people using that term don't seem to know what it is, but anyway, says they demurred and claimed the subject was too complicated for a rating, of course. Says this election season, they reverted back to the Purdue standard when they gave Donald Trump a pants-on-fire label for claiming Kamala Harris is a communist, the thing that she actually is, but okay. So, number 8, PolitiFact's joke police come for the Babylon Bee on March 27th. Yeah, it's always fun when you see fact checkers coming after a satire site. Like, basically, like, you guys are trying to say that the thing that's a joke is fake, and it's like, yeah, we know it's a joke. Like, we all get it. You guys apparently don't. So let's see what this says. A very quick one here. It says, while most of the fact checkers have learned to treat satire as satire, PolitiFact has not, as it gave a false label to the Bee's joke that Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg actually praised a cargo ship for helping to dismantle racism in American roads, which is a ridiculous sentence in the first place. Racism in American roads. Roads are just roads. They're not racist, and don't argue with me that they are because you're an idiot if you try. Okay? But, yeah, so it's always fun arguing with a satire site or a joke site that, hey, that thing is actually a joke. But anyway, number 7, CNN's Daniel Dale claims George Soros is a victim of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories on May 7th. And this is always their go-to whenever someone brings up George Soros, who, by the way, I've mentioned this before in other videos, he's Jewish in name, but the guy is he does not practice religion. If you go look at his history, and from his own words, he actually helped those bad German people during World War II. So he's complicit, okay? But the left holds him up as like, that's okay. But, given what the left thinks about Jews these days, I'm not surprised that they don't call him out on it. And Daniel Day, if you don't know, is CNN's chief fact checker that they only seem to bring out of his coffin, whenever Trump's around. So he just disappeared during Biden's term, except for like once or twice, and now he's back again. So let's see what he says. It says, when Donald Trump suggested Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg was targeting him for political reasons, which is true, he cited the fact that he was supported by progressive billionaire activist George Soros, which is also true. Dale was not happy, but his reasoning was not convincing. And he said, so Mr. Soros was a liberal billionaire philanthropist, also a frequent target of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, did not make any direct contributions to Mr. Bragg's election campaign, which I think is a lie. I think someone did find out that that's in fact a lie, so that's Daniel Dale, the fact checker, would be wrong. And this is what they do. They say because George Soros was Jewish or is Jewish in name, that when people criticize him, it's anti-Semitic, which is just not true. Okay, that is not anti-Semitism to criticize someone who is Jewish. Continuing on with this quote, says he also says he's never spoken once to Mr. Bragg. That doesn't mean anything. That wasn't the actual claim that Trump was making. Says what did happen was he donated to a liberal PAC that then in turn donated to Mr. Bragg's campaign. Okay, so he did do it. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. They're trying to say like, it wasn't exactly what you said. It happened this way. And people who understand how the English language works goes, oh, Daniel Dale's full of shit. So it says, just going back to that sentence, it says, what did happen was he donated to a liberal PAC that then in turn donated to Mr. Bragg's campaign as well as other reform-minded prosecutors. So this is at best a one-step removed relationship. So he did it. So it wasn't him himself, is what Daniel Dale is saying. It was the organization that the man runs donate to him. Like, I wonder why. So it's basically, you might as well just say, yeah, so George Soros, the money that he gave to this organization was donated to this prosecutor. And so he's trying to say, no, that's not George Soros directly doing it. So yeah, go do something bad to yourself, sir. Like, go eat a bag of you-know-what. That's what I'm hinting at. Number 6, so we get back to Daniel Dale. He goes to CNN's Daniel Dale gets his fact checked on July 17th, 18th. Let's see if I remember this one, because this should be funny. Oh, I remember this. Michael Waltz with the CNN anchor guy says in one of his RNC fact-checking recaps, Dale claimed Congressman and incoming National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who, like I said, is this man right here on the right, spread pure fiction when he accused Biden of allegedly being focused on building electric tanks. Says the next day, Waltz joined CNN and brought their saying, oh yeah, okay, now I remember this. Yeah, Waltz basically right on air just fact-checked Daniel Dale and said, nope, you're wrong, and here's the proof. So he said, I have here Bloomberg reporting the U.S. Army putting its electric tanks on hold because they have to further invest in and develop the battery technology. I have testimony with the Secretary of the Army. This issue, I have the budget where they're investing in research and development on electric fighting vehicles, in addition to the non-tactical vehicles mentioned in that climate strategy. What the hell would an electric tank, like, really? So what happens on the battlefield when the thing runs out of a charge? It's just dead. The tank's just dead. You can't do anything with it anymore. Like, what, is there going to be like a charging station in China or something if we end up there? Like, this is not going to work. So why would we even try that? So I like that Michael Waltz is just like, yep, Daniel Dale's wrong, and here's why. Daniel Dale should not have a job, by the way, especially when it's like someone could easily come on air and just go, he's wrong, and here's the proof that he's wrong, and it's something that Daniel Dale should have known or been able to look up. Anyway, we're into the top 5 now. So number 5 says, Snopes claims Biden didn't wear a hard hat backwards when he did. This is on January 26th. It says, during a trip to Wisconsin, President Joe Biden posed for a photo with his hard hat on backwards. Snopes claimed he did not because the hat's bill was facing forward. However, safety regulations require the nape strap be placed on the back of the wearer's head where Biden was on his forehead. After receiving heavy criticism, Snopes was forced to correct the ruling. And Snopes, which is a supposed fact-checking website, tends to get a lot of things wrong. Like, I absolutely would not trust Snopes at all. So let's keep going on here. It says, number 4, PolitiFact defends Senator Brown on gender-affirming care for minors on October 11th. It says, the GOP Senate Leadership Fund accused Senator Sherrod Brown of supporting giving hormones and puberty blockers to minors. But despite statements from Brown in his campaign affirming that he does, including a letter Brown and other Democrats sent to President Biden lamenting red state laws on the issue, PolitiFact still refused to give the SLF a true rating. Instead, they got cute, gender-affirming care is an individualized healthcare model that prioritizes encouraging and supporting a person's gender identity. It is more than puberty blockers and surgery. So, of course, PolitiFact is always going to take the left side. Doesn't matter. So, here we go with PolitiFact again. Number 3, PolitiFact not once, not twice, but 3 times defends Democratic senators on transgender sports on October 10th, 29th, and 31st. So as PolitiFact really did not like Republican Senate candidates campaigning on the idea that Democratic Senators Sherrod Brown, Jackie Rosen, and John Tester supported allowing males to compete in women's sports. PolitiFact defended the trio by claiming there are no votes on on a Senator Tommy Tuberville amendment should not be seen as evidence against them because it was part of a larger and unrelated spending bill. There's the fact that none of the relevant senators gave any indication they would vote the other way on a standalone bill was ignored. Likewise, PolitiFact insisted the role of the federal government to regulate who competes in college and high school sports is limited to non-existent but civil rights legislation, such as Title IX, could be used to argue that women's sports must be protected. And again, you can see how PolitiFact here tends to not live up to their name. So number 2, Snopes defends Walz' anti-religious teacher standards, and this was on August 30th. As Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz, as governor of Minnesota, oversaw changes to the state's teaching standards that required teachers to affirm beliefs about homosexuality and transgenderism that religious people would object to. This led conservatives to claim that Walz had banned Christians, Jews, and Muslims from holding teaching positions in the state, but Snopes claimed that such a claim was nonsense because Minnesota didn't explicitly pass a religious test. The article also featured featured several unrelated personal attacks on those making the claim. And oh, look, it's PolitiFact yet again. So you see there's a pattern here. You had CNN a couple times. PolitiFact was this 4 times now. Had Snopes a few times. So this is how you know who not to trust. So it says, number 1 here, it says, PolitiFact rates Vance mostly false for agreeing with them on October 2nd. So good job, PolitiFact. It says, during the vice presidential debate, PolitiFact quoted J.D. Vance as saying immigration leads to higher home prices. In the rebuttal, PolitiFact argued, experts agree, and I wonder who these experts are, but experts agree that increased immigration leads to higher demand for limited housing, but it is not solely or predominantly responsible for higher housing prices. Instead, they point to a shortage of affordable housing as the main driver of higher housing costs. It says Vance's full quote was, and again, you can see, or I should say again, I haven't mentioned it first time, but you can see there's a link there, or a hyperlink on Vance's full quote. It says, there's a Federal Reserve study that we're happy to share after the debate. We'll put it up on social media. Actually, that really drills down the connection between increased levels of migration, especially illegal immigration, and higher housing prices. Now, of course, Margaret, that's not the entire driver of higher housing prices. It's also the regulatory regime of Kamala Harris. Look, we are a country of builders. We're a country of doers. We're a country of explorers. But we increasingly have a federal administration that makes it harder to develop our resources, makes it harder to build things. So there you go. Just wanted to clown on the media and show you again who not really to trust here. And just if are there any ones out there? I mean, this is the top 10 or the most egregious fact checks, I should say. But do you think there's anything that was missed here? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.